I'll have to admit I thought the three words were non illegitimus carborundum. Until now. Dr. Salih, Professor McVeigh, trustees, faculty, students, thank you for being here today and for the warm welcome that you've given us. I would say the only person possibly more shocked than me to see me standing here today would be Dr. Philpott. He was my advisor and my senior quantum physics teacher. He by now has forgotten the day Gary Heath and I took our final exam in his office. He gave us one problem with the starting point and the final equation and said, solve the proof. And I worked for hours on that, but as time ran out, I knew that I was stumped. It occurred to me in a flash, well, it's a Baptist school, at least in those days. So I scribbled on the page, and then a miracle occurred. Turned in my paper and left the room. I thought I should have gotten more credit for being the first to identify the God of the gap. The test results, though, screamed marketing. There were many things I encountered at William Jewell in my 4 years that I never quite understood. For example, when we took ballroom dancing with Dr. Will Adams down in the Mabee Center, was it really better to call it international folk movements and hold it in a room full of mirrors where the placard read rhythmic activities? I am the youngest of 4 children of Lewis and Adeline Krause to graduate William Jewell. Some would suggest it took William Jewell 4 tries to produce a decent Krause. My siblings, however, would tell you that without them preparing the way, I would never have made it through. The truth, of course, is they are more right than they even know. But that is how it is with legacies, that people build through their lives, and how others like me are the beneficiaries. This is really, for me, where the notion of success finds its definition. It is routinely misdiagnosed as the result of a title, a level, economic gain, frequent flyer points. The last time I saw my father alive, we were standing in the garage, and he intimated to me that his main concern was standing before his Maker, whether he would be judged as having done enough in his life for God. Yet, the countless number of people who were influenced by him and my mother through their lifetime of service and missions and ministry, and also to this institution, would be shocked by that. Success is about impact. Success is Dean and Betty Morton, who could not have children on their own. So instead, they dedicated themselves to make a better life for troubled, abused, or discarded children. Over more than half a century, with less than modest resources, they housed more than 100 foster children, from single moms to cocaine babies to other troubled teens. They adopted 5, one of whom became my wife. She received a music education degree from William Jewell College with the help of a magnificent financial aid program made possible by people we'll never know. And I have watched hundreds of kids pass through our home and her classroom and catch her passion for music, many of whom are now passing it on to others. We can't go to a restaurant, a movie, a mall, without running into some former student whose face instantly lights up. Of course, you can't get all of them, and I can bear witness to the fact that a few should have definitely taken up careers in maybe accounting or philosophy. I remember very well my freshman year, the day that I saw George Morton walking across, the sidewalk towards the music building, wearing a blue coat. I asked my roommate, Stan Kilpatrick, who that was. He said, hey, he counseled me, he said, you don't have a chance with her because she is dating a KA trumpet player. I knew I had it made then because anyone can tell you that Lambda Chi trumpet players are better kissers than KA trumpet players. Well, in my pièce de résistance, I took her student ID, told her I wouldn't give it back, meaning she could not eat, unless she would let me use it to get tickets to the Harriman Fine Arts Series. Itzhak Perlman did the rest, and we've been married 32 years. Fields, Hilton, Shannon, Moore, Harriman, Forbes. These are the names that echo in my mind deep legacies that have influenced me. I don't know what drove their passion, whether it was born from some sort of adversity, but I expect it was. It is when adversity comes and the door you were expecting to walk through gets slammed in your face that relearning happens and the person you will really become takes form. A quote from philosopher Khalil Gibran has almost been a motto for my family during the past couple of years. He said, out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls, the most massive characters are seared with scars. I can tell you that is true. Most of your decisions up till college are pretty straightforward, many of which are just essentially laid out for you. But here's where the real fun starts. You're making decisions for a life yet to be defined in a world no one can predict. See what I mean? When you choose a liberal arts education, you choose an education not oriented to producing really accountants or engineers or lawyers or doctors or music professors. But rather it's to produce a more complete person with tools to learn how to learn and to adapt to never before seen circumstances. This will be your power in the coming years. We competed in Jewel for the conference championship at Graceland College, their indoor track facility just up the road, paid for in large part by Bruce Jenner. And I can assure you that in 1983, I had no idea that someday we would be keeping up with the Kardashians. The internet wasn't even a thing. Today, every second there are 46,000 searches. Every second there are 46,000 searches, which I like to call asking Rabbi Google. 100,000 videos get streamed. 2.3 million emails get sent. Over 2 terameters of fiber optic cable, pumping 4 zettabytes of data. I don't know what a zettabyte is, but Dr. Philpott does. 3D printers can produce anything from a box of cookies to an artificial limb. And Swarovski crystal makes a fitness bracelet. Over 1 billion people have digital cell phones, most of whom are in China. If you are a senior here today, 40,000 apps will be added to the Apple Store before you graduate in May. A couple of them will be useful. By 2020, a LAN cable will be a museum piece, and the clothing you wear will transmit a petabyte per month of data to the cloud, whatever the cloud is, to be analyzed. For a teacher, your legacy of success, which you will actually really never be able to measure, is to infuse this generation with your passion. As a student, your future legacy will depend on how you respond when you have to choose amongst paths you did not expect. These 4 years, 5, 6 for some of you, is only the starting line of what will be nearly an unlimited set of options and choices, none of which you can really imagine today. This is where you begin to decide what you really believe, learn how to learn, and adapt to an unknown future where the difference is you. One thing for sure, at some point, something will happen that you never expected. Yesterday, I was walking down the steps of the new PLC, which is a wonderful place, and I was caught by a quote in the center of the wall on the stairs by Sir Isaac Newton, which says, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." So I'm here to tell you that I believe in miracles, and to thank the giants.